This is a PinGenerator.com tutorial on how to create a solid color background text graphic. Once you log into your account and the image editor is loaded, you will see here on the workspace the file creation dialog box is here. You are not going to click on upload from computer. You are going to click on create new. Once you do that, you'll see the defining image size dialog box. Right now it's defaulted at 800 pixels wide by 600 pixels high. For a social media graphic or a pinning site pin, you don't really want to go too much bigger than 800 pixels. That's big. You also don't want to really go under 300 pixels in either direction, because that'll be too small when somebody clicks on it and it comes up in its own window. So what I'm going to do is I am going to change the width of this to 500 pixels. So this is going to be a 500 pixel wide by 600 pixel high text graphic. That's a decent size for a social media graphic or a pinning site pin. And here we have the image size. Now what I'm going to do next is create the solid color background. So what I'm going to do is go up here to the upper left hand corner and click on the tool button. From there, on this left hand column, we're going to go down to shapes and click on that. We are then going to go over to rectangle and click on that. You can then close the tools and move this dialog box over. This default shape that comes up, for some reason the black, which it says it's black, it's not a stark black. So you actually have to kind of go in, if you want to use black, and reset it to a really stark black. Bring it right down the back there to the corner. You can choose a color by picking any of these tiles, or you can use this spectrum slider and use that with this selector right here. So you can see up here, let's pick that color, and then you click choose and you'll be on the color that you've chosen. But I'm going for black right now. So there's that, click choose, and here is the black shape. It's supposed to be a rectangle, but that's a square. Then what we'll do is, actually when you have this cursor with the 4 arrows, that just means you can move whatever item is in the workspace anywhere you want. If you come over to these side toggles and you get this double arrow, that means you can stretch this out and come over here and drag that. Click on the shape again to activate the toggles. Drag that one down. Click on it again. Drag this one up. And there's our solid color background. Now, we have to perform a little bit of a hack here, because you don't have to do this when you have an image for a background, but for some reason with the shapes, you do need to do this. If you're going to add multiple fonts, different kinds of fonts, you need to convert this to an image. Right now it's just a shape. The way that you can do that is, if you're going to just use one font on top of this, you're good to go. But if you're going to use multiple fonts, you need to convert this to an image. So we're going to go back up here to the tools, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to click on that, and we're creating another rectangle right on top of this, just like that, that. So this is 2 rectangles, one on top of the other, and close that. Actually, we're going to open that again. The reason we're doing that is now we have 2 layers. And once you have 2 layers, you can merge them into one image. So to do that, you go over to the tools, open up the toolbox, click on the left-hand column, click on Basics tab, then come down to Merge and click on that. And now, as you can see, the 2 rectangles have been merged down to one image. That's not 2 separate shapes anymore. This is just one image. So you can close the tools there. Let's see. Actually, what we're going to do next is add text. So I'm actually going to open the tools again. In the left-hand column, you can go down to text, click on that tab, and you'll be brought to the fonts. Here we have this font category drop down. and it's defaulted to handwriting. And here's the first page of handwriting fonts. As you can see over here, we have there are multiple pages. This is the third page of handwriting, fifth page of handwriting fonts, eighth page of handwriting. There's over 600 fonts that you can use, so you should be in good shape there for choices. But as far as the categories go, that's the handwriting fonts. Then there are serifed fonts, as you can see here. Same thing, you can scroll through the pages of all the serifed fonts. You also have sans serif and display fonts. The display fonts are really good because, especially for graphics, because they're mostly really bold. So they work really well for text graphics and social media graphics and pinning site pins. But for this, I'm going to go for serifed fonts. There's a slider here to scroll. It is white. Just so you know that, because if you think it's gray and you're up here, you're going to be confused as to why nothing's happening. So it's this white slider here to scroll up and down. Coming down here, I'm going to go to Open Sans Condensed and click on the font. I'm going to close the tools, move this dialog box over. Okay, once you've chosen a font, it will show up here in this small box. You double click on it, as it says, and then you can take this out and put whatever you want in. Let's see. Okay, this is a Albert Einstein quote. As you can see, the text is much smaller than the graphic box we've created. So what we're going to do is we're going to come on over here to font size, this slider, and you can enlarge it to the size you would like. It's pretty good. Save. Now you can move it around. You can usually, with this border box here, you can usually eyeball what is centered. I'm going to show you one other thing. The space in between the lines of text, the way that you can change that is right over here on this line height dialog box right here. There are these arrows going up. As you can see, that's a value of 1. The next value, full value, it goes up to 2, and that's a huge difference. What I found is you can get in here and you can put a decimal point in and manually type in 1.3, 1.7, 1.2, so you can get in there and finesse it a little bit. But I think for this, I'm actually going to use just the 1 value, but I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, that looks pretty good. So there I have my first font. And now I'm going to add a second font. Now to do that, the text can't be activated, because if you go and choose another font, all it's going to do is change this to that new font. So what you have to do is click on Main Image, which is why we performed that hack at the beginning of merging down 2 layers into one so we could make it an image. And make sure you clicked on Main Image, go back up to the tools, and then on text, I'm going to use, let's see, I will use Roboto Condensed. Now that second text selection is up there. Click Save. I'm going to activate it. Take this text out. Einstein. Okay, so that's good. I want that a little bit smaller, so I'll come over to the font size slider and bring that down a bit. That looks pretty good. Let's see how we do. Move this down right about there. to close the toolbox so I can see better. If you ever want to get rid of this text box, if you click on something that is not text or shape, if I click on main image, it'll go away. So there, I see it. But to move it again, I would have to activate again by clicking on one of the text layers. But actually, it looks really good where it is. So I'm leaving it like this. This is pretty much my text graphic. Now, the last few steps are you can do one of two things. To merge this down again into one layer, because right now it is the main image, then there are 2 layers of text. So this is 3 different elements that you can independently move around and change right now if you want to. But we're going to merge this down, or when we save it as a JPEG, it'll automatically merge down. So if you want to merge it manually, you can go to Basics, the Basics tab from the toolbox, and go down to Merge like we did at the beginning. Or you can come to Save, click on Save. You can choose a name for your file. Then you want to have JPEG selected. As far as quality goes, 8 is a really good quality. You don't want to go really below 8 for a text graphic or a pinning site pin, but you could go up to 10 or 12, but 8's good. And then once you have all that done, just click on Save, and it will save it to your downloads on your computer or to another file that you have defaulted on your computer. But that is how you create a solid color background text graphic on PinGenerator.